Did you know that one Clint Eastwood movie inspired a rock song that's been streamed over 460 million times? Yeah, you heard that right. A gritty, old western, with dust and tumbleweeds and a mysterious cowboy, somehow sparked one of the most iconic pieces of music in rock history. And the story behind it? Oh, trust me, it's even cooler than you think. So stick around. Because by the time we're through, you'll never hear that haunting whistle, or watch a Clint Eastwood Western, the same way again. Let's roll it back. It's the 1960s. America is in love with westerns. Cowboys riding into sunsets, wearing clean white hats, saving towns from bad guys. The kind of movies where the hero always wins, the sheriff always gets his man, and good and evil are crystal clear. But by the mid-1960s, audiences were starting to get bored. These stories felt too perfect. Too predictable. People wanted something different, something raw, something real. Enter 1966. Enter the good, the bad and the ugly. From the opening scene, you could tell this wasn't your daddy's western. It was rough. It was gritty. It was, well, ugly, in the best possible way. There were no clean-shaven heroes here. Just men with squinty eyes and crooked smiles, covered in dust and sweat, staring each other down in silent, tense standoffs. And then there's Clint Eastwood. He shows up wearing this beat-up poncho that looks like it's seen better days. He doesn't even have a name. Seriously. In the credits, he's just called the man with no name. And yet, the second you see him, you know he's the most dangerous man in the desert. He barely talks. He just squints, lights a cigarillo, and somehow makes everyone else on screen look smaller. And the way he moves, so calm, so controlled. Like a snake that doesn't bother striking until it absolutely has to. That kind of presence isn't something you can teach. Clint Eastwood simply was that guy. But you know what really set this movie apart? The music. Even if you've never seen the good, the bad and the ugly, you know the sound I'm talking about. That eerie little whistle. That sharp electric guitar. Those weird, almost coyote-like howls echoing across the desert. It's one of those sounds that just sticks with you. You hear it once, and suddenly you're picturing two men in dusty boots, fingers twitching over their holsters, ready for a showdown. And we have the brilliant Ennio Morricone to thank for that. Morricone was a genius. He didn't just write background music, he wrote music that told the story. Every whistle, every note was full of tension, grit, and danger. The music didn't just accompany the gunfights, it was the gunfight. Fast forward a few decades. Now we're not in the desert anymore. We're in giant stadiums. The crowd is electric. People screaming, waving signs, pumping their fists in the air. The lights go dark. And then, silence. Then that familiar whistle starts to play. Yes. That same eerie, haunting whistle from Clint's movie. And just like that, tens of thousands of metal fans go absolutely wild. Because they know what's coming. That whistle, that song, The Ecstasy of Gold, has been Metallica's opening track at every single one of their concerts since the 1980s. It's not just an intro anymore. It's a ritual. It's the spark that lights the fuse. And when that whistle fades and the band finally charges onto the stage, the roar of the crowd is deafening. But here's the thing. Metallica didn't just borrow Morricone's original version and leave it at that. No way. In 2007, they went into the studio and recorded their own version of The Ecstasy of Gold as a tribute to Morricone. That's how much respect they had for his music. And you know what? That recording alone has racked up more than 460 million streams. And counting. That's mind-blowing when you think about it. A strange little Italian western from 1966 becomes the backbone of the most successful heavy metal band of all time. How does that even happen? It happens because great art transcends boundaries. It doesn't matter if it's a cowboy movie or a rock concert. If something resonates with people, it finds a way to last. Even Ennio Morricone himself was touched by it. He once called Metallica's tribute one of the proudest moments of my career. That's a pretty big statement coming from a man who wrote music for over 500 films. And here's another little nugget of trivia you might not know. When Clint Eastwood was first offered the role of the man with no name, he almost said no. He thought the script was too unconventional. Too violent. Too dark. But he took a chance. And that chance turned him into a legend. Same goes for Metallica. Let's be honest, using a spaghetti western theme song as the opening act for a heavy metal show. That could have backfired. It could have felt silly, even cheesy. But it didn't. It worked because it was unexpected. It worked because it was bold. And sometimes, that's what it takes. You've got to be willing to take a risk if you want to create something unforgettable. So here we are. Two completely different worlds, a cowboy in a poncho, and a band of guys in ripped jeans and leather jackets, coming together in the most unexpected, unforgettable way. And here's something even more interesting. That intro. That whistle. It's not just for the fans. It's for the band, too. James Hetfield once admitted in an interview that hearing the ecstasy of gold before going on stage still gives him chills to this day. It helps him focus. It gets him in the right headspace. It's become part of who they are. Part of their DNA. And isn't that the magic of art? The way it can cross oceans, cross generations, and somehow still feel fresh. A movie shot in the deserts of Spain nearly 60 years ago, still filling arenas with energy today. It's all connected. And if you've ever been lucky enough to see Metallica live, you know the feeling. The lights drop. The crowd hushes. That whistle starts. And everyone feels it. That sense that something epic is about to happen. That's what great art does. It builds anticipation. It brings people together. It creates moments you'll never forget. And that's exactly what Clint Eastwood did in the good, the bad and the ugly. And what Metallica did, and still does, every night they take the stage. There's a line Clint delivers in the movie that sums it up perfectly. In this world, there are two kinds of people. Those who watch history happen, and those who make it. That line, it's more than just a cool piece of dialogue from a movie. It's a philosophy. A quiet challenge. A reminder that in every moment of your life, you get to decide which kind of person you want to be. Do you stand on the sidelines, watching others take the risks, break the rules, and create something unforgettable? Or do you step forward, even when it's scary, and try to leave your own mark? No doubt about it, Clint Eastwood made it. He could have played it safe. He could have stuck to the predictable roles Hollywood had in mind for him, kept his image clean and conventional, and never taken a risk. But that's not who he was. Clint Eastwood read that gritty, unconventional script for the good, the bad and the ugly, and instead of running from it, he leaned in. He understood that greatness doesn't happen in comfort zones. He put on that worn-out poncho, squinted into the blinding sun, and completely redefined what it meant to be a hero in cinema. He didn't just act in that movie, he owned it. He turned a nameless character into an icon. And he showed the world that you don't have to be perfect, polished, or predictable to become unforgettable. And Metallica? They made it too. Think about it. They were already one of the biggest heavy metal bands on the planet. They could have easily stuck to the expected formula, more guitars, louder drums, bigger solos. But instead, they surprised everyone by opening their shows with a theme song from a spaghetti western. It was strange. It was risky. It was completely out of place, and that's exactly why it worked. When those eerie whistles of the ecstasy of gold echo through a darkened stadium, every fan in the crowd feels it. That tension. That anticipation. That primal excitement. In that moment, it's not just a song anymore, it's a signal. A declaration. A promise that what you're about to witness is history in the making. Metallica didn't just play music. They created moments. And maybe now, you'll be inspired to go out there and make it too. Because here's the truth, you don't have to be Clint Eastwood, and you don't have to be Metallica to make history. You don't need a movie set or a stadium full of fans. You just need the courage to step into the unknown. To take a chance when everyone else is playing it safe. Maybe for you, that means finally starting that project you've been dreaming about but putting off. Maybe it means speaking up in a room full of silence. Maybe it means walking a path no one else sees yet, and trusting yourself enough to take the first step. History is never made by the ones who wait for the perfect moment. It's made by the ones who create the moment themselves. Clint Eastwood didn't wait for permission to change the face of westerns. He just did it. Metallica didn't ask if it made sense to borrow a movie score. They just felt it was right, and made it theirs. And you? You're standing at the same crossroads. You get to decide, are you just going to watch? Or are you going to make something worth watching? Because at the end of the day, the people we remember, the people who inspire us, the people whose stories we tell decades later, they all have one thing in common. They chose to make it. And so can you. So here's what I want to know. Which part of this story surprised you the most? Was it the fact that Metallica turned a Western theme into a stadium anthem? Or maybe just how timeless Clint Eastwood's performance really was? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this trip through movie and music history, stick around. There's plenty more where that came from. Check out the next video on our channel, I promise it's another great story you don't want to miss. And hey, don't forget. If you liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another upload. Because just like Clint, we've still got a few more surprises up our sleeve. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.